Tuesday's shooting that left the shooter dead and 2 others injured at Great Mills High School in Maryland adds to the national pressure for greater gun control and school safety.
Family separations surging at the border amid the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy. One public defender says about 500 children have been separated from their family since May, including an undocumented mother who says her baby was taken while she was breastfeeding.
I'm here today not because I want to be. I am terrified. I am here because I believe it is my civic duty to tell you what happened to me while Brett Kavanaugh and I were in high school.
I've never sexually assaulted Dr. Ford or anyone.
The college campus is a place for growth, both educationally and personally for our students. For many students that come right out of high school, it is the first time they've been away from home or been able to live independently. These students make up Generation Z. According to a survey conducted by the American Psychological Association, the Gen Z population is experiencing increased amounts of stress, which could correlate to what has been featured on the news. Stated in the article is this quote: "Gun violence, family separations, and high-profile sexual assaults have dominated the news over the past year."
My name is Lisa Antel. I'm the Director of Counseling here at Post. I've been here since 2003. So I work with I tend to the psychological needs of our student body.
I'm Lisa Chervenak, and I am the Associate Program Chair for Psychology. And I also teach for the psychology program, mainly Psychology 101, honors, Introduction to Psychology, research, capstone, abnormal psychology, drugs and behavior.
Hi, my name is Sean Croce. I work here at Post University. I am a writing ESL specialist, which basically means that I help students, particularly English as a second language students, with their writing. I also teach for the English department. I've taught creative writing. I usually teach composition. I also teach a little literature, which is my true love. And I enjoy working with students, and I enjoy working with a wide variety of personality types.
Teachers and counselors are some of the individuals students will go to if they are stressed or in need of help.
Since I've been here since 2003, we've seen an increase in the number of students coming to counseling, but in the last 2 years, we've seen 50 to 60% increase, while we've only had, say, a 10 to 15% increase in the number of students here on campus. So, and that's common with trends across the country. I mean, counseling centers are seeing more and more students. I also think mental health issues are more prevalent and people are more aware of them. There are a lot of destigmatizing campaigns, such as, you see Demi Lovato, you see Lady Gaga, you see Kevin Love, who's a very well-known basketball player, talking about his mental health issues.
Experiencing a panic attack on the basketball court changed Kevin Love's perspective on mental health. Celebrities, such as sports figures, have the ability to make an impact if they are honest about their own struggles.
It's open now. People aren't ashamed. I think that's good. I think when I was growing up 100 years ago, you were to keep things in. You were to be ashamed. Those days are over. And I think that's a good thing. In fact, I'm seeing it outside of the school. I'm seeing people openly express, in fact, I was writing an article on a fairly well-known gentleman, not a Post student, who is open about his mental illness. And, it's nice to see that people have the courage. You're not going to get better unless you come clean about it with yourself or with somebody else. And really, there's nothing to be ashamed of if you have an issue that you can't control. Again, there's nothing to be ashamed of. You can help yourself and help those around you by taking the right steps, but mainly help yourself. So if somebody's brave enough to say that, I say, okay, I understand there are probably still people that are saying, oh, what are you broadcasting it to the whole world for? Well, you know what, if it helps the person, then go for it.
First kind of learned about, mental disorders and mental health. It was always viewed as sort of an embarrassment and something that you really didn't talk about, and that's something that you felt sorry for people and you were sort of glad it didn't happen to you. But that attitude certainly is changing. It's not viewed as embarrassing anymore. And I think because of that, a lot of students will open up more. They're more interested in talking about mental health disorders. I think some of that just comes with more research and more knowledge, and disorders are being talked about a lot more too, among celebrities. I mean, I think it was Mariah Carey who just, admitted she has bipolar disorder, and I think it sort of sets, a model for people of saying, okay, this isn't embarrassing, this isn't something I should keep to myself, because here's somebody who's famous who not only says she has a disorder, but is getting help for it.
Mariah Carey says in a People magazine interview that, quote, "Until recently, I lived in denial and isolation and in constant fear someone would expose me. I sought and received treatment. I put positive people around me. I also knew it was finally time to share my story. Perhaps the point here is that everyone has a story, and we should no longer be afraid to share it."
But when it comes to really those sort of personal examples where students self-disclose, usually I see that in term papers. And when that happens, usually my first comment is, I'm honored that you would share this with me. Because even though there is less stigma, it can still be hard for a student to admit that. So that's usually first. Depending on the nature of what they've written, I may next go to Lisa Antel, the school counselor.
Well, I think it's important to acknowledge it, depending on the issue, acknowledge their courage for sharing that. If it feels really inappropriate for the class or the class is really uncomfortable, important to validate the individual so they're not uncomfortable, and kind of trying to sort of weave your way out in a way that isn't, doesn't make the person feel, funny, but and then maybe checking in with them afterwards.
I can be a little more comfortable or more knowledgeable with some students' issues is that I've had issues myself. It's probably hard to see now, except that I rub my nose a lot, but I have Tourette syndrome, vocal tics sometimes. I'm also a recovering alcoholic. I will have 20 years in February since I've had a drink. So I'm familiar with, shall we say, the challenges that come with that and the damages that come with that as well. Thank God I was never in a situation where anybody got hurt or whatnot besides myself, but I know that it can be devastating. And in my course of gaining sobriety, I've worked and spoken with many people. So I've had experience outside of here, not just my own private experience, but experience with others who have gone through this and who have succeeded, which is nice, which is rewarding because you hear a lot when you work with others. And you also have your own experience to fall back on.
Even if, you report something, they're grateful because at least they know that you care about them. I had a student a couple of years ago, and in her paper, she wrote that she was suffering from substance use disorder and she wasn't getting treatment from it. And the way she wrote it was supposed to be like a mock case study, but just reading it, it looked like she actually had this disorder. So I went to Lisa Antel and Counseling Center. She was a high school student taking college courses, so she was a minor, so her school got involved, and it just turned out to be an issue of just poor wording. But at the same time, she came and she thanked me, and she was just like, I know if I ever do have a problem, at least there's faculty that are willing to help. So always do something, even if it turns out to be nothing.
In the end, we all should not be afraid to say something, to do something, and to share who we are.